Is it stupidity? Is it complicity? Or is it just that she has so much on them that they
Yeah,
have to
it's
play
fear.
ball?
It's fear. She's very, very manipulative. She's very good at playing people.
5 minutes ago, a story detonated so violently it sent shockwaves through royal palaces, Hollywood mansions, and every corner of the internet where secrets go to die. This isn't gossip. This isn't rumor. This is the kind of revelation people spend fortunes trying to erase. According to whispers tearing through elite circles right now, a piece of footage long believed to be destroyed has resurfaced, and it allegedly shows something that was never supposed to be seen again. A pool, a foreign country, a night that doesn't fit the official timeline, and two figures whose paths were never meant to cross on camera. Until now, the name lighting the match, Andrew Lownie. The biographer who already burned one royal reputation to the ground is now being accused of holding evidence so explosive it could shatter another marriage, rewrite a global narrative, and expose a cover-up years in the making. Deleted pool footage. That's the phrase flooding private messages, burner accounts, and frantic legal calls as we speak. Not photos, not hearsay, video, moving images. Allegedly erased right as a certain royal romance went public. Social media is in full meltdown. Viral clips are appearing and vanishing. Insiders are leaking last chance warnings. Fans are fighting like it's a digital civil war. And behind the scenes, sources claim emotions are unraveling fast, confrontations, tears, accusations whispered behind closed doors. Because if this footage is real, it doesn't just challenge a story. It destroys it. Stay with me. Because once you hear what this video allegedly shows and why it disappeared, you'll understand why everyone is panicking. The moment this story cracked open, it didn't arrive politely. It came screaming. Phones started vibrating across London and Lowe's Angels at the same time, as if some invisible alarm had been tripped. Journalists who hadn't spoken in years suddenly reconnected. Former aides resurfaced. Anonymous accounts that had been dormant for a decade lit up like Christmas trees. And at the center of the chaos sat one name that makes institutions sweat: Andrew Lownie. The man who already ripped the mask off Prince Andrew is now being whispered about as the keeper of something far worse than words. Something visual. Something people swear was deleted for a reason. According to multiple alleged insiders, this didn't begin as a hunt for scandal. It began as a loose end that refused to stay quiet. While revisiting Prince Andrew's travel patterns for follow-up research, Lownie allegedly noticed repeated references to Thailand that didn't align cleanly with the official public record. Not just dates, but social events, private gatherings, poolside parties that never appeared on itineraries or expense sheets. One former fixer, speaking under condition of anonymity, claimed there was always chatter about videos from that era. Stuff people laughed about because they thought it was gone. Gone is the key word here, because gone doesn't mean destroyed. It means hidden. What detonated this into a full-blown panic was the whispered claim that one of those videos allegedly includes Meghan Markle. Not as a background blur, not as a random attendee, but as someone interacting with Prince Andrew in a way that insiders insist looks familiar, comfortable, recognizing. And if that sounds impossible, remember the story Meghan herself told the world, that when she met Andrew years later, she didn't recognize him. Thought he was an assistant, a harmless, awkward anecdote, until now. Because if footage exists showing them together earlier, that anecdote doesn't just wobble, it shatters. Within hours of these whispers surfacing, social media descended into chaos. Twitter became a war zone. One trending hashtag accused the palace of erasing history. Another accused critics of inventing fantasies. Viral videos titled "The Footage They Don't Want You to See" racked up millions of views before being yanked offline. Screenshots of supposed insider DMs flooded timelines, each claiming a slightly different version of the same thing. A pool party in Thailand, sometime between the mid-2000s and early 2010s, where powerful men and aspiring women mixed freely, far from the cameras of London. Some posts claimed the footage was scrubbed in 2016, others said 2017. A few insisted it was paid to disappear. None offered proof, but the consistency of the details is what scared people. Thailand, pool, night, deletion. Behind closed doors, according to alleged leaks from palace-adjacent circles, the reaction wasn't disbelief. It was dread. One source claimed senior advisors asked a single question over and over. Who still has it? Not is it real? Not did it happen? Just who has it now? That detail alone sent conspiracy theories into overdrive because people lied to deny, they panicked to contain. Meanwhile, celebrity reactions poured fuel on the fire. A former royal reporter tweeted, deleted, then retweeted. Some stories don't resurface unless someone wants them to. A Hollywood producer who once defended Meghan posted a cryptic Instagram story. Truth doesn't expire. Comments were disabled. Fans noticed. The most unsettling whispers, though, involve Prince Harry. According to one person described as emotionally close to him, Harry was blindsided by the rumors. Not because of Andrew, that relationship has long been strained, but because of what the rumors imply about Meghan's past. The source claims Harry has been asking questions he never asked before, replaying early conversations, revisiting timelines, trying to understand why something so simple as "I'd met him once before" was never mentioned. Another leak, circulating briefly on Telegram before disappearing, claimed a heated late-night confrontation took place, involving raised voices and tears. The alleged line that set the internet on fire. "Why am I hearing this from strangers?" As the noise escalated, attention snapped back to Andrew Lownie himself. This isn't a man known for chasing internet clout. He spent years conducting over 100 interviews to document Prince Andrew's downfall, publishing material that triggered legal threats and forced official responses. People who know his work say he doesn't speculate publicly without receipts. So when word leaked that he had acknowledged, privately, investigating a possible pre-Harry connection between Meghan and Andrew, it landed like a grenade. One journalist claimed Lownie described it as an unresolved contradiction. That phrase alone became meme-worthy, because contradictions are where scandals live. Then came the supposed technical angle. A self-described data archivist posted a long thread claiming that a video matching the rumored description briefly existed on a private forum years ago, tagged with metadata suggesting it had been uploaded well before Meghan and Harry went public. The thread included no video, only technical jargon, timestamps, and a warning: if this gets attention, it will vanish again. It did. The account was suspended within an hour. Screenshots circulated anyway, they always do. And once that happened, the story evolved from "does this footage exist?" to "why is it being erased so aggressively?" What makes this moment feel different, more dangerous, is timing. Meghan is in the middle of a carefully crafted rebrand. Glossy lifestyle visuals, warm family imagery, a narrative of authenticity and rebirth. Every partnership, every deal, every appearance hinges on public trust. And now, right as that image is being sold hardest, her past is being dragged into question by association with the most radioactive royal figure alive. Even if nothing is proven, perception alone can scorch brands. Insiders claim executives are monitoring the situation closely. That phrase is corporate code for panic. Meanwhile, Prince Andrew's camp remains silent. No denials, no threats, just absence. And in the court of public opinion, absence reads as fear. Especially when paired with whispers that Andrew himself may have once referenced, knowing her before Harry in private conversations, a claim impossible to verify but impossible to ignore. Add that to the documented warnings Andrew allegedly gave Harry about Meghan being an opportunist. And suddenly, the puzzle pieces begin to form a picture people don't like looking at. As the first wave of chaos settles, one thing is clear: this story isn't about a single video. It's about trust, about narratives carefully constructed and aggressively protected, about what happens when someone like Andrew Lownie starts pulling on a thread others assumed was cut forever. And as insiders continue to whisper, one sentence keeps surfacing, chilling everyone who hears it: if it ever plays, nothing survives. The question now isn't whether this story will grow, it's who breaks first when it does. What happened next didn't look like damage control, it looked like fear. The kind that moves quietly, that doesn't issue statements or go on record, but instead starts erasing footprints and sealing doors. According to multiple so-called insiders, the moment the rumor of deleted pool footage reached the wrong inboxes, emergency calls were made across 3 continents. Not publicists, not PR teams, lawyers, old ones, the kind that don't Google things and don't leave email trails. One source claimed a single question dominated those calls: is it recoverable? Not is it fake? Not can we deny it? Recoverable. Because if something can be recovered, it can be played. And if it can be played, it can be believed. Andrew Lownie's name kept resurfacing in those whispers like a curse people were afraid to say out loud. People close to him insist he never claims more than he can back up, but they also say he's relentless once he smells contradiction. He reportedly told one confidant that the Meghan Andrew timeline was the most aggressively sanitized section of all. That line, allegedly shared in a private message, went viral in screenshot form before being scrubbed. The screenshot disappeared. The phrase didn't. It became shorthand for everything people were now digging into with obsessive detail. Online, amateur sleuths began reconstructing Meghan Markle's pre-fame years with forensic intensity. Archived blog posts, old travel photos, background reflections in yacht pictures, guest lists from elite events, none of it illegal, none of it definitive, but taken together, it formed a pattern that made people uncomfortable. A struggling actress narrative that somehow coexisted with access to spaces most people never see without extreme wealth or powerful sponsorship. That's when Thailand came roaring back into the conversation, not as a vacation destination, but as a crossroads. A place where wealthy men, discreet parties, and ambitious newcomers frequently intersected far from Western scrutiny. Then came the alleged leak that shifted everything. A voice note, distorted and clipped, surfaced briefly on an encrypted platform. The speaker claimed to have worked as a handler for high-net-worth gatherings in Southeast Asia during the mid-2000s. He didn't name Meghan. He didn't name Andrew. He didn't have to. He said there was a video everyone knew about, poolside, nighttime, two people who later pretended they'd never crossed paths. The voice cracked slightly at the end. That video was supposed to be gone. The clip was deleted within minutes. Copies spread anyway, always anyway. The palace response, or lack of one, poured fuel on the inferno. No categorical denials, no aggressive pushback. Just carefully worded phrases about unsubstantiated claims and historical inaccuracies. Fans dissected every syllable like tea leaves. Why say historical inaccuracies instead of falsehoods? Why address timelines instead of interactions? One royal commentator pointed out that denials aimed at dates conveniently avoid denying meetings. That observation alone spawned thousands of quote tweets and reaction videos. The internet smelled blood. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's silence became the loudest sound in the room. According to a source described as close but worried, Harry was deeply shaken not by Andrew's potential involvement, but by the possibility that Meghan's origin story wasn't fully transparent. The source claimed Harry felt blindsided, not betrayed yet, but destabilized. If this is true, the source allegedly said Harry told a friend, then what else did I never ask about? That sentence spread like wildfire. Fan accounts tried to dismiss it as fabrication. Critics embraced it as confirmation. The divide widened into a digital trench war. Celebrity reactions escalated the drama to another level. A-list names who once publicly supported Meghan began distancing themselves quietly. Likes disappeared. Photos were archived. Invitations were suddenly declined. One Hollywood insider posted a now-deleted tweet. When lawyers start calling before journalists, that tells you everything. Another celebrity hinted at stories everyone in certain circles already knows. That phrase alone trended for hours. People demanded names. None were given, which somehow made it worse. Andrew Lownie remained publicly restrained, but those around him say he was anything but inactive. He reportedly reached out to old sources, revisited interviews he'd conducted years earlier, and cross-checked details he once set aside as irrelevant. One person claiming knowledge of his process said Lownie became fixated on a single discrepancy. Meghan's claim of not recognizing Prince Andrew versus multiple accounts, suggesting she moved comfortably in elite royal-adjacent environments long before meeting Harry. You don't just forget a duke, the source paraphrased him as saying, unless forgetting serves you. Then came the confrontation rumor that refused to die. According to a leak that bounced between Instagram and Telegram before vanishing, a private argument allegedly took place between Harry and Meghan after a short clip circulated among insiders. The clip itself was never seen publicly, but the description was chillingly consistent across accounts. Pool lights reflecting on water, laughter, a moment of familiarity caught on camera that couldn't be explained away as a first meeting. One alleged witness claimed Meghan went silent when confronted. Another claimed she cried and said, "It wasn't what it looks like." No proof, no confirmation. But once those words entered the narrative, they embedded themselves like shrapnel. The Andrew factor complicated everything. For years, he's been treated as a liability the monarchy wishes would disappear. But now, paradoxically, he's the one person whose silence could be interpreted as confirmation. If he denies knowing Meghan before Harry, he risks reopening his own darkest chapters. If he stays quiet, speculation paints him as complicit. One tabloid insider described it as mutually assured destruction. If one speaks, both burn. If neither speaks, the story metastasizes on its own. As December nights grew colder, the internet uncovered another unsettling detail. Several older videos and photos connected to elite Thailand events from the mid-2000s had been quietly removed from obscure hosting sites in recent weeks. No explanation, no notices, just gone. Data preservation accounts flagged the removals as unusual. Screenshots of error messages went viral. People began archiving everything in sight, convinced something big was about to vanish. That panic fed itself. The harder things disappeared, the more real the story felt. Then, just when the frenzy seemed unsustainable, a new twist emerged. A journalist claimed Andrew Lownie had told them off the record that he was less interested in publishing the footage itself than in exposing why it vanished. "Deletion is a confession," he allegedly said. That line alone sent chills through royal watchers, because if the story shifts from "did it happen?" to "who made it disappear and why?" the circle of scrutiny expands dramatically. Suddenly, it's not just about Meghan or Andrew. It's about institutions, power, protection. Insiders now whisper that multiple versions of the footage may exist, that one copy was deleted publicly, but others were quietly archived by people who knew its value. One source claimed a copy was once offered to a tabloid and rejected for being too dangerous. Another claimed a private collector refused to release it without immunity guarantees. None of this can be verified. All of it feeds the same conclusion. This isn't a rumor spiraling out of control. This is a suppressed story trying to breathe. As pressure mounted, one final leak pushed the tension to a breaking point. A screenshot of an alleged internal message circulated briefly, reading, "If that Thailand video ever plays, it reframes everything." No sender, no context, just that sentence. It was enough. Because now the narrative wasn't just wobbling. It was cracking. And everyone watching knew one thing for certain. The moment someone decides to stop protecting the past, the fallout won't be survivable for anyone involved. By the time the third wave hit, it was no longer a rumor cycle. It was an unraveling. The kind that doesn't announce itself with headlines but with absences, canceled appearances, phones going unanswered, advisors suddenly unavailable. According to multiple alleged insiders, the internal mood around this story shifted from containment to countdown. Someone somewhere was no longer cooperating. And when that happens, secrets don't stay buried. They surface violently. The most chilling detail to emerge was the claim that Andrew Lownie had stopped asking for permission. Sources say he began verifying independently, cross-referencing old travel manifests, private guest lists, and archived correspondence that had nothing to do with Meghan on the surface, but everything to do with the world she was allegedly moving through. One journalist claimed Lownie described the situation as a convergence problem, where too many independent data points suddenly lined up. Thailand, the right years, the right circles, the right silences. And when that convergence happens, deniability evaporates. Behind the scenes, panic reportedly set in among people who hadn't spoken in years. Former associates allegedly received carefully worded messages checking in for old time's sake. Old non-disclosure agreements were reread. One source claimed a retired fixer refused to take calls, telling a friend, "If they're calling now, it's already too late." That line spread fast. It felt prophetic, because at the same time, digital archivists began flagging more anomalies. Cached pages missing, broken links that shouldn't be broken, footage from unrelated events vanishing without explanation. It looked less like coincidence and more like a sweep, and sweeping only draws attention to the dirt. Publicly, Meghan Markle's silence became a story of its own. No lifestyle posts, no inspirational captions, no carefully framed family moments. Fans begged for reassurance. Critics called it strategic retreat. Insiders claimed she was furious and frightened, oscillating between anger and disbelief that something from so long ago could threaten her now. One alleged leak claimed she told a confidant, "They promised it was gone." That sentence alone ignited speculation. Who promised, and what exactly was supposed to be gone? Prince Harry, meanwhile, was reportedly unraveling in private. According to someone described as having direct knowledge, Harry began questioning the foundations of everything he defended so fiercely. The idea that he'd gone to war with his own family, based on incomplete information, gnawed at him. The source claimed he was reliving every warning he ignored, especially those allegedly coming from Prince Andrew, of all people. That irony was not lost on anyone. Because if Andrew, a man Harry despised, knew something Harry didn't, that realization alone could shatter a marriage. And Prince Andrew? his silence hardened into something darker. According to a tabloid insider, Andrew was warned not to comment under any circumstances. Not because he was innocent, but because any statement would invite follow-up questions he could not answer without self-destruction. One royal watcher put it bluntly, "If Andrew admits knowing her before Harry, he confirms the lie. If he denies it, people will demand proof. Either way, he's finished." That calculus explains the quiet. And quiet in this context feels like consent. Then came the supposed insider betrayal. A person claiming to have been present at elite Southeast Asian gatherings during the relevant years released a long, rambling post on a fringe forum. They never named names, they didn't need to, they described a scene. A nighttime pool, laughing women, powerful men who assumed cameras were friendly or off. The post included one line that froze readers. "Some people forget who was watching." The account vanished within hours. Screenshots didn't. People began combing the text for clues, convinced it matched earlier descriptions of the rumored footage almost too perfectly. As pressure mounted, brands reportedly began contingency planning. Nothing public, nothing formal, just quiet conversations about risk exposure. Executives allegedly asked whether Meghan's narrative could survive a credibility hit, even without proof. The answer, according to one source, was not cleanly. Authenticity, once questioned, is almost impossible to restore, especially when the questions involve deliberate omission rather than youthful mistakes. And that's the heart of the storm. Not what happened in Thailand, but what may have been hidden afterward. Andrew Lownie's role now looms larger than ever. According to a reporter who claims to have spoken with him briefly, Lownie was calm, almost detached. He allegedly said, "I don't need the video to exist forever. I just need to prove it existed once." That distinction matters, because proving deletion is often easier than proving content. Logs, requests, takedown notices, payments, trails, and once you prove someone wanted something erased badly enough, motive enters the picture. Motive is dangerous. The internet, sensing blood, turned ruthless. Old interviews were rewatched with new skepticism. Every pause, every laugh, every anecdote was reframed. Comment sections filled with side-by-side comparisons. Then versus now, what she said versus what fits. Fan accounts fractured, some doubled down in defense. Others defected, saying they felt manipulated. One viral video captured a fan in tears saying, "If this is true, she lied to all of us." That clip alone reached millions. Emotion fuels virality better than facts ever could. And then, just as exhaustion set in, the cliff edge appeared. A respected investigative outlet teased an upcoming piece with a single sentence. "What was removed matters more than what remains." No names, no dates, just that line. People connected the dots instantly. Commentators speculated it involved Andrew Lownie's findings. Others said it involved financial records tied to content takedowns. No confirmation, just anticipation. The kind that keeps people awake at night, refreshing feeds. According to one final alleged leak, a private meeting took place involving senior advisors, legal representatives, and at least one person who had seen the footage years ago. The goal wasn't denial, it was negotiation. What would it take for this never to surface? The answer reportedly was chilling. That option expired. If true, it means someone decided the past was no longer worth protecting. And when protection ends, exposure begins. As December draws to a close, the story sits on a knife's edge. No footage has surfaced publicly. No proof has been released. And yet the damage is already real. Trust eroded. Alliances strained. Questions that will never be unasked. Andrew Lownie continues his work in silence. Meghan remains out of sight. Harry, according to whispers, is facing a reckoning he never anticipated. And Prince Andrew stands frozen in the spotlight, a man whose past refuses to stay buried. This isn't about what we've seen. It's about what someone doesn't want us to see. And the most dangerous stories aren't the ones that explode immediately. They're the ones that wait, because when they finally surface, they don't just end careers, they rewrite history. And somewhere, in a place no one can access yet, there may be a file that does exactly that. If you've made it this far, understand this. You're already inside the story. This isn't background noise you can catch up on later. This is the kind of moment people swear they saw coming after the fact, the kind they regret ignoring when the warning signs were flashing this loudly. Stories like this don't fade, they escalate, they mutate. They drag more names, more proof, and more fallout into the light whether anyone is ready or not. And when the next piece drops, it won't come with a rewind button. This is your chance to stay ahead of it instead of chasing it. Like this video so it keeps circulating while others try to bury it. Subscribe right now because when new information surfaces, and it won't wait for casual viewers. It will hit fast, hard, and without mercy. And if you're not subscribed, you'll be walking into the aftermath instead of witnessing the moment everything changes. Most importantly, get into the comments. Say what you think, call out what doesn't add up. The comments are where patterns emerge, where insiders lurk, where the conversation turns from speculation into something far more dangerous. Silence helps powerful people. Discussion doesn't. This story is not finished, it's barely begun. And when the next development breaks, whether it's a confirmation, a denial, or something no one saw coming, you'll either be ready or you'll be wondering how you missed the signs. Don't miss them. Stay locked in.